Gotta move this. Gotta move my screen here. We're out in space. We got the spaceman on the shirt with the classic Think Big light bulb shirt. So today I want to I want to introduce you to Chartworks. These are going to be the videos that we produce, and I'm going to try to keep this under 20 minutes, hopefully 15 minutes. I get excited. What I want to do with you all, I'm going to show you three screeners. Our own custom Investor's Edge that's been rebranded to Chartworks because we can't use Investor's Edge. So let me share my screen. I'm glad you're here with me. This is the exciting part, but we had to lay down the foundations and fundamentals of money so that people aren't just diving into what we're doing here. So I hope you're seeing the screen that I'm on, which is this chart. This is the day chart. This is the weekly chart. So follow my mouse. What we did was we looked at my screener. That's why we're looking at a sale. So I want you to leave away with three key takeaways. Three key takeaways are going to be getting a good price, pattern identification, and so this is kind of my strategy here. I like cut patterns. And so first I'll take you to FinViz. FinViz is a cool free screener. You can look at the patterns here. They have different signals here: trend line support, trend line resistance, boom, boom, boom. You can look at double bottom, multiple bottom, because those might be chart patterns. And if you're a bearish or a put type of trader, you can look at double tops, and you'll see that those probably are, they don't look bad. Yeah, you can see that double top and that drastic fall here. So those might be some patterns that you might be interested in. But let me go show you how to quickly identify some cup patterns double bottom. This is a cup VCIT starting to fill out. We need to break out above two key levels there. We'll just bounce around here. So this MVFY, that was a cup that completed. I believe this is a larger cup historically if you look at the weekly MVFY. Why? Nova Lifestyle. And so we can, oof, this thing fell from grace. Okay. All right. I don't know if I would, maybe. No, this is $1. I usually stay away from these type of stocks here. So I'm gonna try to keep it moving, keep it moving. Not seeing anything fantastic. I am Invitation Homes. That might IMVH. Let's take a look at that. And we got a decent price there. So we can see that this previous cup did not fill. And we're sitting in this range here. Sitting in this range about here. And we can even bring it up to here. But we definitely keep bouncing between these price points, right? This $34 and this $30 price point. What is that on there? That's about 13%. So that's nice. If we catch this thing back at $13, $30 might be interesting. We see it's reversing off of resistance here. So this is another resistance level. So it reversed. We got a resistance level about right here. So it stayed true to form, bounced off that resistance, heading back down. So we get this thing at 30. That might not be a bad price. We see that it hit 30. It fell through 30 and hit this 26, which we wouldn't want. But it did hold this 30. It almost dropped to, it hit 30.51. And it hit 30.10. And then it hit 29.23. So that's not too bad. That wouldn't hit your stop loss if you hit about a 4 to 5%, which I like. Some people like 7 to 8%. They're more comfortable. This wouldn't have hit that stop loss. So you'd have picked it up here. They would have drugged the price down a little bit, but then it bounced up the next day. You'd have been at profit at 32, and then you know your resistance level, so you want to scale out around 35. So that's how you can find things in FinViz. Chartmill is amazing. Now, this is a subscription service. I just want to show this to you. They have technical breakout setups, affordable growth, everything up here, strong growth stock, technical setups. They give you a few. So you can see Walmart's moving, Abbott Laboratories. Some of these I do not know. Allstate. What they do is they give you a technical rating and analysis, excuse me, got the hiccups, and then setup rating and analysis. They give you support resistance levels, and they give you entry, a sample trade, entry, exit, distance, capital. They also have sectors. You can take a look at that. Performance. What I look here is materials. Looks like materials is doing fairly well, slow and steady. So 6 month, 3 month, 1 month, 2 week, 1 week. Materials has been positive. So we want to write down materials because the more it's staying positive, and so that's where we want to be. Then we see utilities right here, boom, 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 all positive performance. So utilities is probably an area that we want to be in. So then they have market monitor. You got the indexes here. You can see sector performance. We see down at the bottom. So theirs is an inverse of what we have at Chartworks. We see consumer staples has been holding it down, but it looks like a rotation. Consumer staples is still holding it down, so that's an area we might want to look at. But real estate and healthcare have outperformed for the week consumer staples. Utilities is still in play, materials is still positive. So if we were in any of those sectors, we have more if we selected a stock in those sectors, we have more going for us than against us. And so now that's Chartmill. Try to give you a demo. If you want more in-depth on Chartmill or FinViz, I can do that for you. What I want to take you here is to the Investor Edge dashboard that will be named the Chartworks Setup Finder. And so what you can do is search by name. You can search by ticker. You can search by subsector. But what I like to do is we've got patterns right over here, and we know the sectors that we want to get into. So, okay, I see. So we selected the cup pattern, I believe. Let's select that cup pattern. And then we identified about 3 or 4. So we said materials, utilities, consumer staples. So let's go to, we don't have a cup pattern in any of those, but we know there's kind of a rotation in healthcare, maybe. Healthcare did good this week. Let's see. Let's just dive into real estate. We saw real estate was doing good. Let's see what cup patterns exist in real estate. So this is the great thing about this. We can zone in to what's performing well and what has momentum. So we see VICI Properties, VICI, Well Tower. Let's take a look at those. VICI. All right, so we see the cup has already formed. We even drew that in. That cup formed. Okay, we gotta drag that out. And so we're in range right now. Now this might not be a bad price because we're at the bottom of the range. We actually hit that today. So this is something I like to see. Basically, we've been holding the bottom of this range. So this is 31.49. That's probably a decent 31.45, probably a decent price to get in. Now we pulled back, but we know that, look at this. We've been in this range here. So we hit the bottom, we hit the top, we hit the bottom, we hit the top, we hit the bottom, we hit the top, we hit the bottom, we hit the top. So what that means is we can get this price 31.50, and probably if it stays true to form, real estate, if there is a rotation, real estate does well, we should see this going to this 32.85 price point. So let's see how much we got on that. Should we enter that trade? 4%, not bad. Not terrible. Let's see what kind of dividend this thing pays. We've got 5% dividend, so not bad with a little bit of appreciation. We might hold it for 30 days. Let's see what the X date. is, I thought they showed that on here. I don't see it though. It's probably due for a turnaround. Look at that, 34%. 1 year price target, they're thinking 13% up, plus you get the 5% dividend. We won't spend too much time here, but this doesn't look too bad. So let's go to another play here. Let's look out Well Tower. Okay, Well Tower's up there. So we drew a parallel channel here, and we see it bounced off that channel. It's heading towards first resistance level, and then there's a second resistance level. So it's got to break out of here. It'll head to this level, and then it might reverse back because that's that parallel channel if it holds true to form, unless it breaks out for some earnings or something positive. We also have this range here. And so if we move that up a little bit, this 142 price doesn't look too bad. Picking that up probably at 142. We'll put a set of 5% stop loss. So I don't think real estate is ready. So let's look at financial services here. Still looking at that cup pattern. That's what that is. Cup pattern double top. Oh, we want cup pattern double bottom. Let's change that. Let's do cup pattern. Let's double top. Let's do cup pattern ascending. How about that? Let's look at Visa and UNM. Visa. So these might have broken out. Let's see. Hopefully they didn't. Yeah, that's going. That's going. That's going. We can throw a parallel channel on that. It broke it, but now it's trying to get back in that channel. So this actually might be a reasonable price. If we get back into that channel, 368, we'll probably have about 380 to 384 to the upside. 20 bucks. I don't know. Let's see here. It's 5%. So not bad. Let's look at UNM. And you can see that this V-shaped cup, this already occurred. So this is usually where I like to get it. So I was a cup pattern trader, and then I would get the cup pattern breakout, but I realized the breakouts usually had a pullback because a handle would form. And so I said, how can I get a better price? And so what I saw was these stair steps, right? Or different levels being set. And so this one isn't the greatest, but you can kind of see this is a price level here. This is a price level here. And if we treat this like stair steps, there's a price level there. So we kind of retraced back to this level. So we're still in that level there. Let's just extend that. So not bad. Cup didn't really break. The cup completed. And I don't like all of this. There's usually cleaner patterns sometimes, but you can see that we're just stepping up 1 step, 2 step, 3 step to complete that. That right side of the cup is building out beautifully. And so this is how I find these cup patterns to get into. One example trade is of a parallel channel that I got into with Sprouts Farmers Markets. I drew that parallel channel, and then I got in around this price. So what I saw was that this price here was being hit, this 160 to 162 price continued to be hit. And so this was prior resistance here. So that's what that is, prior resistance. And that resistance became new support. So we get in at this price. We got that price hit twice during this week, 162. So if you got in at 162, we're at 172. We got $10. We're already up about 7%, 6%. And I'm expecting this thing to go to 187. We got to break out of here, this 181 range. So I'll scale out here because I know that's a former level. I'll start to scale out. But I'll keep a little bit in case we break out of that and then hit this 187-ish, 185 to 187-ish range, and I'll get out of that trade. I can show you some more trades. Let's just go to a different sector. Let's go to consumer cyclical, see what's in there. eBay, I'm actually in eBay. So let's look at eBay. So I'm looking for a 76. The reason, so you say, hey, Brandon, that cup filled. Yes, it did. And we broke out of that cup. And now we're headed towards the top of this parallel channel, so around $74. But if we take a look at the weekly, this is the daily, this is the weekly. Take a look at the weekly, we squeeze that in, we see a cup pattern, long term, long cup pattern from 2021. And then we have all those stair steps. Look at this. We got stair step 1, stair step 2, stair step 3. And now we're on the 4th to 5th stair step over here. And so I'm looking for 74 to 76 exit. I'll start scaling out at 74 because we have this parallel channel. We might bump up against that and start to reverse. But I think this shows good to get to 76, as long as the momentum continues to keep going. So eBay looks good. This is how we find those patterns. And I was in eBay. You know, I got into it maybe a week or two ago. We'll take that off. Let's go to, let's just look for cup pattern double bottom. And then let's see, we got progressive PGR. Let's see what that's looking like. PGR. So this one kind of completed. This is wild. This is a wild thing here. We see we got this range here. This thing is wild. Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, you might like it if you're a breakout trader, but I try to get a good price. XLRE, let's take a look at that. Now, this might mean real estate is going up. So if this is going up, we might pick up VICI that we looked at earlier. So yes, this is a cup pattern. Look at that. Cup within a cup. So we're looking at, this is a long-term cup here, 2021. And now it's finally starting to fill out. Real estate is a little wobbly. So you'll see that we break out and then we pull all the way back to a price. So this is a price level here. So you can see that we hit this price level twice, broke out, boom. Oh, sorry about that. Boom. All right. So then we extend that. Then we got this next level here. That's pretty much what we're doing. Slow building these steps. Slow build. So I would probably want to get in here at 39 or 39.15, 39.96, maybe 40. If we do 40 and we drop, that's only a 1% drop. We can afford to get to this next support level. That's 2. So we can even get a little bit into this level. That's about 4% if we drop. We definitely don't want to get this at the wrong price. As you can see, we pull back heavy, go up, pull back heavy, go up, pull back heavy. So I would be looking now. We got another support area here. I would be looking for 40 to $41 entry. And then if this fills out, we got 45 to the upside. We can probably pick up VICI because this is gaining a little momentum, little steam. We see the RSI picking up. Well, it's in range right here. So we want to see some positivity. We want this thing to break out of this RSI high level and this high level, which is acting as a resistance level. So we need that thing to break out. Might look into this. So that might be one I'll look into. And that is how I use the screener. Now we got way more features. You can drill down by performance. I usually go to S&P sectors so I can see what sectors are performing well. So tech is up there. So you know tech is great performance. Then we can, same thing here, but which sectors have momentum? So, or which stocks, you know, Elf Beauty. So let's take a look at Elf. Elf actually looks like a nice setup. And we actually have a gentleman on our Wealth Builders Collective that likes to do support resistance plays. So he grabbed this baby all the way down here, $60, maybe 49. I don't know which level, but I would do it around one of these candles. I didn't want that candle to be that big. And that's the reason for this jump up here. Usually when there's a gap up, the stock will pull back sometimes. Now I like gaps because this gap may fill, so I could do an order here at 91, 92, probably a $92 order. And it might not hit. We might hit 141 before we hit 92 again. And then here's another gap area at 68. So I would probably do 92 half position, and we drop to 68 half position. That way I'm setting myself up to get that whole cup fill out. Then we have a larger cup in this. If we do break out of here, you can see that this level is in play. And so we have 215-ish, 210 to 215-ish to the upside. But we have to hit this. This cup has to fill. We got to break out of this 139 area. And then we got all of this in play. We have to break out of each of these resistance areas as well. So you can scale out slowly in case it pulls back, or you can stay in full position. And then when we hit around this area, you can start to scale out. Is it possible to break out? Yes, but we don't want to be greedy. We got all of that. We want to grab the money, profit, okay? Because this market can be brutal and it'll take it just as fast as you got it. So this looks really good. You can see that that's on the screener here with the momentum, Elf Beauty, Elf Beauty, Elf Beauty. And then we have a strictly momentum count. What this does is it's 260 stocks out of the 800 that have momentum. So this number has been going down. You can see the trending range. It was 344 yesterday. It was 406 the day before that. It was 365. So we dropped out of that 300 area. We're in this 260 area. So that's not that great. What you see here is technology has the most momentum. 31 stocks with positive momentum, positive RSI, positive CCI, positive MACD. You can see healthcare. So there could be a rotation. From what we saw, there might be a rotation in the market because this week, healthcare, real estate, a lot of things that were previously doing well did well, but they dropped to the bottom. And things that, so we can see that here. What I'm trying to describe, I'm going to click back. We see real estate here was at the bottom 3 months ago. We can see finance was near the middle and the bottom 1 month ago. So now what we see is the things that were at the bottom, real estate, finance, healthcare, have performed well this week. So there could be a possible rotation happening. Let's look at healthcare. Healthcare isn't even on here, is it? No. No. So probably pay attention to real estate, finance, and healthcare. Tech, of course, is moving, so we can select something in tech. So we go back here, we see, now if we select tech, what's moving in tech? Let's go to the subsector. Software application, infrastructure, computer hardware. So let's take a look. We got BlackBerry, Box, AI, CSGS, Net, Crowd. So let's take a look at some of these. CRWD. It's got the juice. And you can see it's got the juice. This thing is breaking out everywhere. Pull back, but then a breakout. So we're reaching the top, so this could pull back. We got Box and BlackBerry. Box. Look at that. That cup jumped in field. That's the whole cup right there. Look at that cup. Field, it's probably going to pull back to a handle. Fill this. So I'll put a price right here. Because if this forms a handle, it might pull back and fill this gap. You know, we got to pay attention to these gaps. Gaps are important. Oh, and we got an actual cup with handle prior. Now we're doing a double handle. So I don't know, but we can see clearly that this 35 level, that's a resistance area. Yes, some people will buy here because it broke out, but these breakouts can pull back. That's why I try to get a good price. You want to get that good price right in that middle of the cup. Let that right side build out. And if we break out, great. but we know that we can at least get that right side profit or action. So that's it. Didn't want to hold you too long today. I'll continue to display the screener. We'll continue to find setups. I'll continue to do cut pattern. We can do support resistance plays. Just drop anything in the comments and any strategy that you like, and then I'll show you how to manipulate the dashboard to hone into that strategy. We've got a momentum filter here, so if you didn't want to see it displayed like that, these are all the stocks with momentum, and you just want to pull the ones out like BKNG that's got the biggest bars right there. Look at that. BKNG is probably doing phenomenal. ELF, look at that. Boom. We just looked at ELF, and it's got the juice. It's got the juice. So we might have to get into that. And then there are pages here, so you can go to the next page. And you can go to the next page. Let's see what's on here. So we got NOC. And I think I think aerospace is pretty good. We'll have to go back and see. But we see that cup filled out. This thing came back, but I think General Dynamics looks good. So I'll have to put, yep, this looks good. Look at that cup pattern to the weekly. Boom, right over here. We want to get a price around 268 because it hit that multiple times during the week. You can see that right there. If we want a better price, 271, but this thing hit 268. And that's the price I want because you know this market will shake. And if it shakes, that price is probably going to hit. But we have 302 to the upside, and then we have one resistance area at 295. So if we break out of 295, 302 is in play. So this looks appetizing. Now, the past 3 weeks, the former resistance level is acting as support. So we draw that in right here. Well, it's sitting on that gray line, which is acting as support. We don't have to draw that in. You can see this gray line here. Price is slicing through there, but it's not going all the way to 267 anymore. But it is hitting 274, so that might be a good price to get in on the bottom of this stair step. And then we can ride that to 300. So that's how to use this. I hope I didn't take up too much time. I hope you stayed with me. Drop anything in the chat that you want to see in the future. We'll continue to give you updates as we go along. Thanks for tuning in.